before proceeding with this higher national diploma, HND. But Manuel decided to make some money by offering academic preparatory classes to students seeking admission into various higher institutions. One fateful evening, while tutoring under the mango tree in his neighborhood, which served as his makeshift classroom, a black SUV rolled to a stop nearby. The tinted window slid down and the driver signaled him to approach. But Manuel hesitated before stepping forward, his palms suddenly damp. The driver tilted his head towards the back seat, where a man sat with an air of quiet authority. "Hey, young man, how are you?" the man asked, his voice smooth yet commanding. But Manuel swallowed. I'm fine, sir," he stammered. The man nodded. "I've passed here several times and observed how you teach. I must say, I'm impressed by your dedication and intellect. My name is Engineer Kelvin. I work with Slumberger. My daughter is preparing for her junior WAEC, and I need a private tutor for her. I've searched but found no one suitable. I believe you can do a good job, and I'll pay you handsomely." The mention of handsomely was all the persuasion but Manuel needed. "Okay, sir, I accept," he said eagerly. "But I'll only be available on weekends, since that's when I'm free." "Perfect," Engineer Kelvin said with a satisfied smile. They exchanged contacts, sealing the deal effortlessly. That weekend, following the directions given, Bob Manuel found himself standing before the towering gates of Engineer Kelvin's mansion. He tapped lightly, and a security guard approached. "I'm Bob, the teacher," he introduced himself. The guard nodded and let him in. As Bob Manuel stepped inside, he was struck by the sheer magnificence of the house. The edifice was breathtaking, a seamless blend of elegance and warmth. White stone walls gleamed under the golden sunlight, ivy curling up their sides like nature's delicate embroidery. Large arched windows reflected the endless blue sky, while a wraparound veranda whispered of slow mornings with coffee and gentle breezes. Inside, high ceilings and exposed wooden beams exuded grandeur. The air carried the faint scent of lavender and old books, an embrace of timeless charm. But Manuel shivered slightly, not from the cool air, but from the realization that he had landed a client of real wealth and status. He was led into the sitting room, a space that radiated sophistication and comfort. A grand fireplace, framed in white marble, dominated the room, its crackling flames casting a golden glow. Plush velvet sofas in deep emerald and cream invited him to relax, their cushions adorned with intricate embroidery. A crystal chandelier dangled from the ceiling, scattering light in shimmering fragments. A maid approached, offering him a seat along with the choice of water or wine. He hesitated before opting for water, trying to mask his growing nerves. Moments later, his host entered with his wife and daughter in tow. The wife was a vision of effortless beauty. Her deep-set eyes, warm like pools of honey, held both wisdom and mystery. Dark waves of hair cascaded over her shoulders, catching the light like silk. Her smile was gentle yet captivating, a quiet elegance lingering in the air around her. She moved with grace, her presence exuding an aura of calm and poise. The daughter, Sandra, was a younger reflection of her mother, carrying an ethereal charm. Her laughter was light and musical, like the tinkling of wind chimes. Sunlight danced in her soft curls and her curious eyes gleamed with wonder. She had the effortless glow of youth, untouched by time, her beauty both innocent and captivating. As engineer Kelvin introduced his wife and his daughter, Bob Manuel found himself momentarily lost in Sandra's gaze. Their eyes met, lingering, searching, speaking a language neither had yet put into words. But Manuel was soon led to the study, which doubled as a classroom, and his tutoring sessions with Sandra began. At first, the lessons were routine mathematics, English, and science. But between equations and essays, something unspoken simmered beneath the surface. Each session was filled with stolen glances, fleeting touches as fingers brushed over notebooks, and the unspoken thrill of proximity. Sandra was smart, but she was more interested in studying Bob Manuel than the lessons he taught. She laughed at his jokes, even the dry ones, and asked questions that had nothing to do with academics. "You don't seem like a teacher," she mused one afternoon, her chin resting on her palm. But Manuel arched an eyebrow. "Oh, what do I seem like then?" She shrugged. A playful glint in her eyes. Someone interesting." Her mother, keenly observant, noticed the shift in Sandra's demeanor, the dreamy eyes, the extra time spent in the study, the way she spoke about Mr. Bob with admiration in her tone. But she said nothing, watching silently from the shadows, torn between suspicion and trust. One evening, as rain drummed softly against the windows, the air between them grew thick with tension. Sandra moved closer, her breath warm against his skin. "You're different from the boys at my school," she whispered. But Manuel knew he should have pulled away, should have drawn the line, but when Sandra closed the distance and pressed her lips against his, he lost the battle against his better judgment. What started as an innocent eye contact spiraled into secret rendezvous, whispered promises, and passion behind locked doors. Engineer Kelvin, oblivious to the storm brewing under his own roof, showered Bob Manuel with gifts and cash, praising him for improving his daughter. Each gift felt heavier in Bob Manuel's hands, weighed down by the guilt of the truth. He had not only educated Sandra, he had deflowered her. Weeks passed before the inevitable happened. Sandra missed her period. Then another fear clawed at her throat as she confided in her mother, who, despite her suspicions, was unprepared for the revelation. The medical reports confirmed it. Sandra was pregnant. Engineer Kelvin's world crumbled in an instant. Betrayal, rage, disbelief. Bob Manuel was arrested, charged with statutory rape, and sentenced to prison. The doctors deemed the pregnancy medically unfit for termination. Sandra carried their child to term, giving birth to a son. 1 year later, after serving his sentence, Bob Manuel stepped out of prison a changed man, marked humble and haunted. His feet hesitated before Engineer Kelvin's gate. Would they let him see her? Had she moved on? The door opened. Sandra stood there, cradling a 3-month-old baby in her arms. Their eyes met again, just as they had met the first day. But this time, it was no longer just longing. It was history, consequence, and a future neither had planned for. But Manuel inhaled deeply. staring at their child, a part of him, a part of her. And with that single moment, the past and the future collided, forever rewritten. Pack your bags, your husband is here, were the words of Engineer Kelvin, whose eyes seemed to be enraged with the sight of me. Sandra has been disowned. It was I and her against the world and her parents. What's next for us? Where do I go from here?